Welcome, everybody. In about 5 minutes, we will start. But if you're at your table now and you would like to start eating, please go ahead.
Is it still morning? Okay, it's not noon, so it is still morning. Hi. We are so glad that you guys are here. Thank you so much for getting quiet so quickly. When Emily told me that I was gonna have to come up here and try and command the room, I was like, you should have had Joe do this one, not me. So I'm Lara Donaldson with Sam's Furniture, for those of you who don't know. So very excited to be here with you guys in person. It's fantastic. So, we really just absolutely love this event. We love partnering with the Children's Safety Center and everything that they are doing. And this event specifically, the Handprints for Hope, it for me has a special place in my heart. Okay, honestly, please don't judge us. Like, I love this event so much that we had to change our flight. So we're leaving for Atlanta today, and we'll be leaving the event a little early. So when we get up and walk off, please don't judge us. Like, that's what we're doing. But we wanted to make sure that we were here for the first in-person event. So I have the absolute honor of getting to introduce Arkansas's First Lady, Mrs. Susan Hutchinson. She truly is an amazing, amazing woman and a great advocate for all of the children's advocacy centers around the state, and we just appreciate her and what she does. As a former school teacher, Mrs. Hutchinson has brought a lot of experience to the governor's mansion, especially regarding the importance of advocating and working with children. Since taking office, not only has Mrs. Hutchinson been traveling to centers across the state and meeting staff, but also meeting volunteers and educating community members about the children's advocacy centers, the work that they do, and most importantly, how the children benefit when they're provided the services at each center. For over 6 years, Mrs. Hutchinson has served on the state chapter board of directors, Children's Advocacy Center of Arkansas, and now all 17 children's advocacy centers across the state are benefiting from her knowledge, commitment, and passion for the children we help. The First Lady has also served as chair of the National Governors Association Spouses Program and has the opportunity to share the work of the CACs to all spouses across the nation. And with as long of a walk this is, I'm gonna go ahead and invite her to come up. And if we can just tell her, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. We appreciate you sharing your enthusiasm and encouragement for helping the victims of child abuse. So thank you so much for being here.
It takes us all being involved to helping the children. I thank God that we have an answer. We have a way to help, a proven way to help the children who need us, the children who didn't have anybody before. The parents didn't know what to do before. Prosecutors, it wasn't gonna work out well, and they knew, and they were hurting because they couldn't really help. But we had good laws, but it just wouldn't work. And so we had secrets in families. People moved. People got transferred out of that teaching position. Different things like that. But it didn't really work, did it? Because that monster was still on the prowl and in the loose. And that monster looks like you and me. No horns. No big black mole in the center of their head. They're not green. They're not purple, they're not polka dotted. They're not black, they're not white, they're everything. They're all out there. You can't pick them out. I can't spot them. The more I pray, I think I can. Whether you're a believer or not, whether you believe in God or not, whether you're a Christian or Muslim or Hindu or whatever, or nothing at all, you just think, yeah, there's a God. Doesn't matter in the sense that God knows. God knows the children, and they're very special in his heart because they know they grow up and they take their childhood with them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We all do. We reflect on it. I know I do. Making mud pies in the backyard. There was no grass. It's a bunch of trees. Was I embarrassed we had no grass in the backyard? I absolutely loved it we didn't have grass in the backyard, because I could push the loose dirt around and make roads for my little miniature cars before Hot Wheels. No, it was fun. Kill the bugs, tie the bugs up, string up the flowers and make necklaces. It was fun, a lot of fun. But not everybody has a lot of fun. And they have awful things that should never have happened. So I implore you, believer or not, Christian or not, atheist or not, just go ahead and try prayer and pray for the children that we need to find. Washington County had 89 children to come into the doors of the Child Safety Center, more than they'd had in any 1 month since, December in 2019, November in 2019. It's awful that 89 children needed us, but I tell you what is more awful is that the 89 children never made it to us. That's the more awful. And that's the reason this Child Safety Center is in a building program, because we know we're still just at the tip of the iceberg. There's far more children who need us that we can redirect. And with the team members that we have, the prosecutors here today, he's a big member of the team in his department, and we have DHS investigators, and we have state trooper investigators, and we have social workers and the DHS that does other services for the families. And there's so many people on the team working on behalf of the child for recovery, not just for safety and retrieving and rescue, but for recovery, so that that stops. That stops. And with prosecution and successful presentations in the courtroom and jurors that get it, that yeah, it can be a highfalutin doctor, it can be a highfalutin preacher, it can be an esteemed teacher, it can be your best friend. That's also a monster. Need jurors to understand that only 10% of the cases that are out there that we find out about are done by strangers. 90% of the time, the child, teenager knows who's doing it, and you and I would most likely invite that person into our home for dinner. Shocker. We need to understand that. We need to pray for those that are investigating. We need to pray for those children who need to find us, the people who should be bringing them to us, for the people who are working and hearing these horrific, unspeakable things that never should have happened, that God didn't want to happen, but people sin and do what they want to do. So we need to be praying on that, and for our counselors and for our interviewers and our medical people who have special training to document things that may still be showing with the bodies and with the testing. It's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I'm telling you, there is a dark side, and he doesn't like what we're doing. He's an oppressor, and he doesn't like what we're doing. God does like what we're doing. So I implore you, I have to pray. I have to have a team of folks praying for me. We call them the Bluebirds. They're best friends to me. They pray for me all the time, with or without knowing what I need. You can do that. It's very effective. And be helpful in that. So there's the giving you can do, there's the volunteering you can do, there's supporting that you can do. But if you know that prayer is the thing to do, please pray for all of us, the prosecutors, his team, everybody that's involved in rescuing and retrieving and helping in the process of recovery. So, having said that, let us pray, shall we? Almighty Father, creator of heaven and earth, the lover of our souls, who can't take your eyes off of us. Help us to be ministering angels to the children who are crying out to you, who may not know who to cry out to, but they're crying out. They want this to stop. They want help. They need help. Bring them to us. Help us to find them. Help the people. Bring them to us. Help them to find out about us. Help us to let them know we're here. Give us wisdom. Give us strength. Give us purity of heart. Help us to keep our eyes on the goal that we're into recovery for these children, that they may grow up to know what real love is and real compassion and truth and how this world really is supposed to work and their place in it, that you love them and that you're sending help on the way. May we be that help. In your precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you to everyone for being here today. I'm Elizabeth Shackelford. I'm the Executive Director of the Children's Safety Center. And first, I would like to thank Arkansas First Lady Susan Hutchinson for being here today, as well as head coach Jordan Weber, who you will hear from in a little bit. I would also like to thank both Mayor Lionel Jordan and Mayor Doug Sprouse for being here. And then I would like to ask the Children's Safety Center Board of Directors and the Fund Development Committee members if y'all would please stand and be recognized. For anyone who may not be aware, the Children's Safety Center was developed as a child advocacy center. We provide immediate crisis services to child abuse victims. We are made up of a team trained to provide forensic interviews, on-site forensic medical exams, advocacy, trauma-based therapy, and prevention and education training to all of Washington County. Our services are all free to the child and their families. Right now, I would like to ask the CSC team, who work incredibly hard, to please stand and be recognized. There's also another team that works incredibly hard. And I would like to ask everyone who is part of the Washington County multidisciplinary team who conduct the investigations and provide other resources to also stand and be recognized. It's amazing to think that we have been open for 25 years this year. It's an exciting time for the Children's Safety Center as we continue to meet national standards with our programs and services. And like Mrs. Hutchinson told you, just last month we had 89 children in the center, and it was the most we had seen since the start of COVID. It's also a very historic time for the Children's Safety Center of Washington County. We embarked on a $12.5 million capital campaign in July 2019, not even thinking a pandemic was going to happen. And now we are going to be able to have a standalone facility created and designed by Buff Studio to support the specific population of child abuse victims we serve. We have truly been overwhelmed with the outpouring of support for the campaign. I would like to especially thank Jane, Brian, and Mandy, and the entire Hunt family for the naming of the new JB and Janelle Hunt Family Children's Safety Center. Because of their generosity and many others here today, we are only $2 million away from our goal. I just hope all of you will know this will mean so much to the children we help, to know that their entire community is supporting their healing process. Child abuse does not discriminate. We help children from all socioeconomic backgrounds, races, ethnicities, sexual orientation, and genders, from infancy through 17 years. Our new facility will allow us to grow and expand our programs, benefiting not only the children, but our entire community. I hope you'll take some time to drive by the future home of the Children's Safety Center on Jean George Boulevard, south of Arvest Ballpark in Springdale. Be sure to look for the sign with our handprints on it. So now, on behalf of the Children's Safety Center, I am excited to introduce to you Coach Jordan Weber. When it comes to resiliency, Jordan has chosen to be resilient in many aspects of her life. Beginning as a gymnast when she was 4 years old, courage and bravery pulled her through many training days and competing against the top athletes in the world. A national champion, American Cup champion, a world champion, and an Olympic gold medalist. The list goes on and on. But today you will hear how resiliency pulled her through her journey outside of the gym as well. Will you please help me welcome University of Arkansas Razorbacks head coach Jordan Weber.
Good afternoon, everybody. I first just want to thank the Children's Safety Center for inviting me to come out and speak to all of you today. I was at this event 2 years ago and just really enjoyed it. I enjoy the opportunity to share my story in hopes that it inspires every single one of you in this room to figure out a way that you can make a difference. And when I first moved to Northwest Arkansas about 3 years ago, I think I'd only been here for a couple of months before I got the opportunity to visit the Children's Safety Center and was just blown away at the kind of work that they do, what they do to help children who have been abused. And this is a cause that's really near and dear to my heart, and I have a personal background with it. So I just wanted to find a way to stay involved, and so grateful to be able to share my story with you guys today. Like Elizabeth said, I started gymnastics at 4 years old. And for any of you that have ever tried gymnastics or know somebody who does gymnastics, you know it's one of the most difficult sports to do because it requires so many different elements: flexibility, strength, focus, dedication, really starting from an extremely young age. And so one of the things I love about gymnastics, although it's very difficult, is that it teaches resiliency more than I think any other sport. You think about a balance beam in gymnastics. It's 4 inches wide, which is about the width of an iPhone, and 4 feet off the ground. And so starting from 4 years old, I was up on the balance beam, trying new skills, flipping and trying to land and stay on this 4-inch piece of wood. And you can imagine how many times I had to fall off the balance beam in order to figure out how exactly to stay on. And so I think what was happening as I was growing up in the sport of gymnastics that I didn't even really realize until I got much older and reflected on my career in the sport. But every time I fell off and got back on, which happened about maybe 100 times every practice, I fell off the beam and got back up. I had these little mini moments of resiliency where I got knocked down, got back up, and tried it over again. And sometimes that happened, 100 times during practice, and even sometimes it happened in front of thousands of people when I was competing on a massive stage. And just the same, I would fall off and get back up, finish my routine, and move on to the next event. And so I think this practice of resiliency, and I think it does this for many other gymnasts in the sport, but it really creates some of the strongest human beings in the world. And I really think gymnastics and that practice of resiliency prepared me for what I would have to take on much later in life. After I retired from the sport of gymnastics, when I was in college, I got on my Twitter one day, and there had been a gymnast that came forward saying that the U.S. team doctor, Larry Nassar, had sexually abused her. And he did that through the guise of a medical treatment. And so I'm reading the article, and suddenly it all just kind of became very familiar, I would say. I'm reading the article and realized that, he did that treatment to me too. This was our Olympic team doctor who traveled with us to the Olympics, came with us to the World Championships. He actually lived in my hometown, so I had been seeing this doctor since I was 8 years old. And he had a medical treatment that he did that, we all thought was supposed to help us. We all thought, if I go to him with a sore back or an injury, that he was gonna help me. Because, like Susan said, sometimes the abusers, and it's the people we least expect it to be, that are out there just fooling people. And so I'm reading this article, and it all was too familiar, and I realized that I too was one of those people that was abused by this doctor, Larry Nassar. And over the course of the next couple of months, hundreds and hundreds of gymnasts came forward saying that, they were also abused by Larry Nassar, the Olympic team doctor. And so, thinking back to my gymnastics career and how resilient the sport made me, it really prepared me for this larger moment in my life where I was faced with the challenge of standing at a podium just like this one in a courtroom, looking my abuser in the face and giving a victim impact statement in front of the courtroom, which was probably the most difficult thing I've had to do in my life up until this point. But, I think back on my gymnastics career, and although I had many successes and won a gold medal in the Olympics and have so many amazing memories, and it made me this strong human being, there were also some really dark moments that were happening behind closed doors. And thinking about how many adults in my life, how many organizations had to cover up what this abuser was doing and not think about us as kids and children and athletes, but think about money and medals and reputation in order for this to happen for as long as it happened with however many athletes that it happened to. And so I think about the Children's Safety Center, and I just get overwhelmed with just gratitude about everything that you guys do to advocate for young children, the way that adults in my life didn't advocate for me. And I will say, I had amazing parents, and even my parents were fooled by this doctor. It was the USA Gymnastics, the Olympic Committee, Michigan State University, who were covering up however many times people came forward and tried to speak out against this doctor. So I thank the Children's Safety Center for doing what you guys do and for giving these children the help that they need and giving them a voice, really. I think that's what I didn't have in the sport of gymnastics through everything. Nobody was listening. Nobody was asking us if we were okay. Nobody was checking in. Nobody was watching and protecting us behind closed doors. So I thank you guys for what you're doing to prevent that from happening. I also thank you for being what gymnastics was for these young children. For me, gymnastics was a tool that helped me become resilient and strong, and it allows me to continue moving forward in my life today despite all that I've been through. And that's what you guys are doing for these children. You're giving them an opportunity to keep moving forward in their lives and giving them the psychological help that they need because it's so important. So in any way that you guys can help support, whether it's just being at this event or financially or even going to the safety center and seeing all those handprints on the walls, thank you for doing that. And thank you for helping in any way that you can because it was something I wish I had growing up in gymnastics, and it's what I'm doing now at the U of A coaching. And my goal is to create an environment in the sport of gymnastics that I didn't have. And make it positive, make it encouraging, and really help my athletes find their voices. And figure out a way, whatever that looks like in their life. Maybe it's not abuse, maybe it's something different, whether it be with their relationships, with their gymnastics, with their school, whatever it is, just helping them become the most resilient human beings they possibly can be. And I'm grateful that I get to do that every single day and to help our student athletes become resilient human beings. So thank you all, appreciate the opportunity to tell my story, and thank you for all that you're doing to support the Children's Safety Center.
Thank you, Jordan. So the Children's Safety Center team and our community, we witness resiliency every day at the center when we look at the walls of more than 12,000 handprints and infant footprints. Our handprints are a powerful visual affirming the diversity of the children who have walked through our doors for help. Our handprints are central to the mission of the Children's Safety Center, to empower children to overcome abuse and begin to trust, hope, and heal. Each child gets to pick out where to place their handprint and what colors or what design they would like. And just like the handprints in your centerpieces on the table, each child is unique. We view the community members, our MDT partners, and donors as the hearts behind our handprints. You're the ones who make it possible for our team to serve the children of Washington County, which is why we have developed the Helping Hand Awards, recognizing outstanding community members, partners, and volunteers. Our Helping Hand Awards are sponsored by Mercy, who is also a past recipient of the award. Mercy provides support to the center and our needs in various ways, such as our Sexual Assault Nurse Examiners program, and we're lucky to have Vanessa Harper as part of our board of directors. So now I have the honor and privilege to introduce the first Helping Hands Award recipient, Fayetteville Detective Scott Odell. Detective Odell consistently thinks about the best interests of the child, and it is demonstrated through his actions of bringing children and teenagers to the center so they are able to have access to all our services. Scott is knowledgeable about the laws, the system of child maltreatment, and the dynamics of abuse. His approach to a case is not only helpful for all of the team, but most importantly to the children and teenagers, as well as their families. I know firsthand, there was a day Scott had a victim found in another county, and he called the Children's Safety Center to find out where the closest child advocacy center was so that he could make sure the child received a forensic interview and other appropriate services. This is just one way how Scott values the team response to child abuse investigations. The Children's Safety Center team is truly grateful for Scott and his dedication and years of service to the children and families in our community. Please welcome the partner recipient of the Helping Hand Award, Detective Scott Odell with the Fayetteville Police Department's Special Investigations Unit.
Thank you for those kind words. As I was preparing to talk to you all, I kind of thought about some things that happened to me in my past life. And I was kind of an older gentleman when I started the job at the police department. And in fact, one of my old bosses last week described me as a grumpy old man. So I have never suffered abuse that we see week in and week out here in Washington County. But I thought I would tell a story about one of those instances which occurred in my life many years ago. I was once a newly promoted Army sergeant stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is the 101st Airborne Division. While I was there, I met a couple of seasoned sergeants who had the designated patch of being Pathfinders. Many people don't know what Pathfinders are. They make up about 0.01% of enlisted soldiers in the Army. In the military, these individuals who are described as squared away are those that we kind of look up to. At the time I was younger, these guys were a little bit older. At this point in my young life, I still wanted to be Rambo, so I decided I wanted to be a Pathfinder. I was accepted into a school, which was the last stepping stone to be accepted into Pathfinder school. So you had to pass this school in order to go on to Pathfinder school. On the second to last day of the class, I injured my knee and I was dropped from the class. They took me to the Army hospital there, and the ER doc in the middle of the night told me that I'd sprained my knee. He told me to go ahead and follow up with the orthopedic surgeon, which I, of course, did not do. So over the next year or so, I continued to ruck march. I continued to do training. I acted like my knee wasn't injured, and it came a time where I couldn't function anymore. So I ended up going to see an orthopedic surgeon. He told me that my ACL had been entirely detached. So he said I had further injured my knee over the year prior and that I would have to have surgery to correct it. The doctor told me there was a strong likelihood this was going to end my career. I was devastated. I was facing the fact that I may not be able to continue in the Army. I went ahead with the surgery, and afterward the doctor warned me if I didn't follow the physical therapy protocols and I re-injured my knee, they would not be able to repair it. He said my knee would never be the same and hoped my recovery went well enough I could go back to full duty. I thought my life would never be the same. At the time, this was something that was very traumatic in my life, and now looking back on it, not that big a deal. I began therapy and requested a time slot early in the morning. The therapy room opened at 7 a.m., and I and a few others would wait outside the door for them to open. While I was there, I met a man named Michael Durant. Chief Warrant Officer Durant was a helicopter pilot who was also stationed at Fort Campbell, who had been shot down in Mogadishu. He survived a crash, was beaten, captured, and shot while in captivity. He suffered extensive injuries, including crushed vertebrae, a compound fracture of his thigh, and bullet shrapnel as he was shot while he was in captivity. He was in physical therapy every day with me. He was an inspiration to me during this time. What I was going through seemed insignificant in comparison. If he could do it, I could easily do it. I later realized this was one of those lessons in life that helped teach me how to be resilient. Coach talked about resilience, and it's kind of ironic that that's kind of the theme that I thought I would want to talk about. Of the dozens of great things the Children's Safety Center assists with, I believe resiliency is one of the most important. Children have to be resilient to recover from abuse. The best description I could find of resilience is the ability to cope and recover, to bounce back. Without this skill, it is very difficult for abused children to recover. Often these children are abused for long periods of time before the abuse is discovered. It is not something they recover from quickly, and I can imagine a child might feel like this is a never-ending situation. Teaching children lessons that go with resiliency is particularly important. They need to learn that it is okay to feel stressed, that we all have vulnerabilities that seem impossible to surmount sometimes. They can overcome what feels like a never-ending situation. We want abused children to continue to have hope and survive their traumatic experience, to be resilient, and to know they are not alone. The Washington County Children's Safety Center is teaching those lessons. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I'm Emily Rapay Fisher. I'm the Development Director of the Children's Safety Center. Thanks, guys. Bye, Lara. Bye, Joe. I don't work directly with the investigators. I see them all the time, but I don't work on the cases directly, but I see Scott all the time at the center, and I've worked with him over the years in various things through the Fraternal Order of Police. And let me tell you something, as soon as we announced the Hunt gift of our new building, Scott was the first one to reach out and wrote the best email and asked me to forward it to the family. And it was just filled with passion for what he does, passion for the kids, and it was just, he's just amazing. So thank you, Scott, very much. All right, our next, the Helping Hand Award also honors local businesses and organizations who have gone above and beyond to support and carry out the mission of the CSC. This year, our Helping Hand Outstanding Business Award goes to Pediatric Dental Associates in Orthodontics. You can't drive around Northwest Arkansas without seeing one of their fun vehicles with a cow in the truck bed or a giraffe coming out of the roof. The doctors and staff at Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics make going to the dentist fun. They also care a great deal about the health and safety of children. Since 2014, PDAO has partnered with the Children's Safety Center in every way possible. They have donated over $50,000 through event sponsorship, matching funds for online campaigns, to general giving. I feel like every time Amy's like, what can I do? She texts me, it's like, what do you need? If you have been to our Dream Big Charity Gala, which, shameless tag, we will have in person July 30th. I will send everyone the date. Then you have most certainly spent time in their over-the-top circus-themed lounge, choosing from an array of candies straight out of Candyland. And I mean, if that's not marketing at its finest, like that is just perfect. Like, let me give you a bunch of sugar and then come see the services we offer at PDAO. I see. Speaking of marketing, Amy Morgan with PDAO, who I've worked with since 2014, is a marketing guru. She is always thinking about the CSC when raising awareness by advertising our sexual abuse prevention trainings and having their entire team wear blue for Wear Blue Day, putting pinwheels out during April, or hosting an informative Facebook Live. She shows up at our open houses, provides volunteers when needed, and serves on our committees. So I also thank the doctors for letting her do all of this for us. But most importantly, the doctors and PDAO staff have also donated countless free services to our clients. General dentistry to orthodontics, the team at PDAO never hesitates when we call. They've provided immediate services for clients that have been taken into care with the most severe dental issues. As mandated reporters, they've also had to call the hotline to make reports of alleged child abuse. Pediatric Dental Associates in Orthodontics is a great example of a local business who cares deeply about making a difference in the communities in which they live and work. Thank you, PDAO, for your support of our mission and the children we serve each and every day. Here to accept the Helping Hand Award on behalf of Pediatric Dental Associates in Orthodontics is Dr. Jason Landers.
Good afternoon. I'm Jason Landers. I'm an orthodontist at Pediatric Dental Associates in Orthodontics. I brought with me a team of people that, without their help, we couldn't have made this possible. Dr. Will Tompkins, Jerry Sanders, and Amy Morgan, who is our marketing guru. She wears many, many hats in our office, but thank you guys for making this happen, and really appreciate your support. I also want to thank I'd really like to thank the Children's Safety Center, the board members, the volunteers and the advocates. It's really been a pleasure and a privilege to be part of supporting y'all's group, and we look forward to doing it for many years to come. Emily has just been a joy to work with, and we love her energy, and we're just excited that we have a partnership with you guys, because even though a day in the life at the CSC compared to what a day in the life in the dental office could be very different, we still feel like our mission statement and our core values shadow a lot of the core values that you guys exemplify as well. Day in the life in orthodontic or dental practice, we're trying to build trust with the patient. That's so important. If we can build that trust with the patient, it makes the experience for that child so much better. We try to create a fun, clean, safe environment for our kids so they can come in and feel comfortable during what would be otherwise a very scary procedure or situation. And so there's a lot of similarities there, and we're just really think that no matter what you're doing, the most important thing is that we are just benefiting and helping the children of Northwest Arkansas who may have been in a scary situation before, grow from that, get that resiliency that we've been talking about, in hopes that they could be a more outstanding and comfortable citizen in the future in Northwest Arkansas. So we love Northwest Arkansas, Washington County. We appreciate y'all's support. And thank you again for this fantastic award. It's overwhelming that you chose us to be the business sponsor of the year. So thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay, our final award for today. Emily and I are really excited to present our Helping Hand Volunteer Award to Dr. Andrew Kohler. Dr. Kohler has been our center's volunteer medical director since the end of 2014. Dr. Kohler is a pediatric doctor with Northwest Pediatric Clinic. He's committed to education and excellence at the Children's Safety Center and in the community. He is available to the sexual assault nurse examiners to discuss cases which may vary from the established testing or treatment protocols to providing peer review services. Dr. Kohler is available to meet with our nurses periodically to update and review standing testing and treatment protocols, and to discuss challenging cases and possible barriers to care in our community. His service is an essential component to the accountability and credibility of the Children's Safety Center's medical exams.
Dr. Kohler never balks at any of my asks, no matter how crazy. Like when I asked him last year to take a pie in the face to help us fundraise, or I guess 2 years ago, when we weren't able to have our in-person gala in 2020. Not only did he call on his friends and family to donate to the fundraiser, but he also got his entire office involved and ended up taking, I think, like 15 pies in the face. Yeah? Yeah. It was great. He got them from kids, he got them from coworkers. If you can throw a pie in the face of your boss, it's probably opportunity. Northwest Arkansas Pediatric Clinic is very involved as well, also thanks to Dr. Kohler. They have sponsored our events, host need drives for our kids, and recently named a room in our new building. Dr. Kohler never misses a party and attends our annual Dream Big Charity Gala every year. But on a serious side, he also serves on our capital campaign committee and our building committee to make sure all our nurses and children have their needs met in the new space. Many of you know Dr. Kohler, but I want to make sure that you know that he is truly one of our biggest cheerleaders and advocates for our mission and our kids. Dr. Kohler, we just thank you so much and appreciate all you do. Now come up here so we can honor you.
I was way less nervous practicing this in front of the mirror this morning, so that's good. I am honored, but also humbled to receive this award today. It has been my pleasure to help the center out wherever I can, because I know the tremendous work that you do for our community every day. Having the Children's Safety Center in Northwest Arkansas is such an asset to our community and for my patients. Having such an incredible place to send my families who are struggling with the horrors of child abuse is a blessing. I joined the Safety Centers as the medical director, volunteer medical director, in December of 2014. But my experience with working with victims of child abuse goes back to my very first days as a doctor. In July of 2008, I was a fresh intern at Arkansas Children's Hospital working the night shift in the ER. Now, I will say that the story that I'm about to tell you is one that is actually pretty embarrassing for me. I don't know if I've even told this story to my wife. In the ER, patients are presented to the residents on a screen that lists their chief complaint, their acuity, how long they've been waiting. And the residents will go up and use their badge and assign that patient to themselves so they can begin taking care of them. And on one fateful shift, I went to go grab my next patient, and I saw that it was one of the gold form patients. Gold form patient is what we referred to suspected child abuse in order to preserve some privacy for a family. So this family had brought their child in because they were worried about child abuse, and I ducked that patient. I had some excuse about needing to go to the restroom. I needed to check up on other patients, but the truth is I ducked them. And by the time I came back 20, 30 minutes later, somebody else had taken them and taken care of them, and I went on my shift and I didn't think about it again. When you're working in the ER, especially at nights, there's usually a time in the summer when it gets slow at 3 or 4 in the morning, and you have a chance to talk, and the residents were all gathered in the workroom, and usually that's a time where you talk about patients and just what you've been dealing with. And one of my co-residents was telling a story, and it was one of those stories that you get in pediatrics sometimes, the ones that are truly heartbreaking. And it was that patient that I skipped. Because I was uncomfortable, because I felt awkward, I let that family, who was going through the worst day in their life, wait to receive care. I did take from that shift a resolution to do better for these families, to overcome any reservations that I have. The sad reality of pediatrics is that I had lots of opportunities to do better. The ER was the most regular site, but I also flew them with Angel 1 back to Children's. I worked with them in the ICU. I did get to work with Dr. Karen Farst, who was a wonderful role model to me on how to take care of patients in such a trying situation, and who I still count on today to make sure that I'm giving good medical advice to the Children's Safety Center. When I moved to Northwest Arkansas in July of 2011, I found more patients to care for here. I was first introduced to the Children's Safety Center through the Dream Big event by my longtime friend, Teresa Harrell, who was involved in the planning and later chaired the event. I knew from the first video I saw at that Dream Big that the Children's Safety Center was a group worthy of whatever help I could give. Unfortunately, my first attempts to offer aid were pretty futile. I like to think that I'm a pretty good party thrower. You know, I'm pretty good at this. I like to believe that. But I showed up at the first Dream Big planning meeting, and the person in charge said, okay, everybody, get out your Rolodexes. We need to start calling folks to get donations for the raffle. Well, I'm really bad on the phone, and I don't have contacts like that, and I don't even own a Rolodex. And in fact, I was so out of the loop, I didn't get that the Rolodex thing was a joke, because I bet you don't have a Rolodex either. And so it was kind of a disaster. Luckily, not long after that, I was approached about being the medical director. And I jumped at the idea. I think my exact words were, I would love to, please don't make me cold call anyone. So for the past 7 years, I have been consistently impressed by the hard work, the love, and the dedication that the staff of the center shows these families every single day. This is truly a place of hope for families in their darkest hours. It has been my great joy to do what I can to help the center, to work towards its mission. And whether that be, working with the medical team or taking those pies in the face. I am honored to receive this award, and I look forward to my next 7 years of service, if you'll keep me. And I'm thrilled to be a part of the team that's helping to make this new facility a reality, because it will be an asset for our community. Now, I mentioned I don't have a Rolodex, and cold calling people is awful, but what I do have is a captive audience. And what I have lost over the years is any sense of shame. So here you are, you're stuck, you're listening to my pitch. Here in just a minute, you're gonna see a video about the work that the center does. And as you watch it, as you see the handprints on the screen, I want you to think about what you are comfortable with doing to help this staff take care of these very deserving patients. And then I want you to get a little uncomfortable, because nothing about child abuse is comfortable. It's just not. But that doesn't make it not real. It's not about you, and it's not about me. It's about these families who need your help more than you can possibly imagine. To the staff of the Children's Safety Center, thank you again for this honor. And to each of you here today, thank you for what you do to help continue to make this center a beacon of hope for our community. Thank you.
Did you know that here at the Children's Safety Center, your donations allow us to offer free mental health services to children and families affected by child abuse? That means that we don't have to charge children and families for the critical trauma services that they need to begin their healing from child abuse. And not billing insurance, that means that children and families can come back for as long as they need. There's not a cap on how many sessions they can receive and when that care stops. So for example, we've had really young adults come back who are maybe 18, 19, who came here as a child. Maybe they did receive services before, maybe they weren't ready. And we're able to not only not turn them away because of cost, but we can continue to see them and provide them with quality care. Within that care, that includes individual sessions, trauma assessments, support groups. Some of the support groups we offered last year in particular was a parent support group, LGBTQ support group, a teen girls group, and a grief group. One really cool thing about the grief group was that was created whenever we saw a need that wasn't being met. That's a really cool story because that's a great way to see how advocacy and mental health work together. So we had a family that unfortunately last year lost their mom during COVID. On the advocacy standpoint, we were able to help financially support them through that funeral and offer support to the family. And then we saw that there was a really big need, not only within that family, but within our other clients, to offer a grief support group. And so not only were they able to receive trauma services for their child abuse, but then also we were able to carry that through into other needs as well.
So I became involved with the Children's Safety Center back in 2003 when we did a teddy bear drive at our office in Farmington. I encouraged my practice members to donate lots of teddy bears, and then we donate those to the Children's Safety Center. And we've been doing this every year since 2003. So it's exciting. Some years it's hundreds of teddy bears, some years it's not, but it's just really neat to know that the kids, when they come here, they can pick out their own teddy bear. They get to keep that. So that's really cool too. So my wife and I have been given for well over 10 years to the Children's Safety Center. We budget it monthly. It's like our tithe, it's like our mortgage. We feel it's that important to give to this organization because it's needed. They provide so many services, and it's just awesome to just be a part of that, and we're blessed to be a part of that. And not only do we give monthly, but certain times throughout the year when they do their lunches, we're at the lunches, we bring friends, but I want other people to know what the Children's Safety Center does, what it's about, that it is local, everything stays local, and so we'll give at lunches, we'll give at drives, or the gala definitely are involved with that as well. So I definitely have personal experience with kids being abused in my office. I hear about it, and it's hard to hear it, that this stuff goes on, but it's so comforting to know that the Children's Safety Center exists, that these kids can come here, they can get help, and be heard.
Just remember, whenever you are supporting the Children's Safety Center, that there isn't a price tag to a child's healing and a family being able to receive services. And not being able to afford services and quality care should not stand in the way of a child healing.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Thornton. I'm the board president of the Children's Safety Center, also work for Arvest. I want to thank my hype man, Dr. Kohler, for speaking before to ask you to be uncomfortable, as I'm here to do what Emily usually asks me to do, which is I'm here to ask for money. But I want to start off real quick on behalf of the board of directors, thanking you for being here in person for our Handprints of Hope luncheon. It's great to be back in person. I do specifically want to thank Coach Weaver for sharing your powerful story with us and really standing up, to speak truth of your experience to help those who have been abused know that they're not alone. So thank you, Coach. Also want to thank the First Lady for being here again always and for your continued support for abused and vulnerable children in our state. I really appreciate your voice as well. As I have for the past 22 years, I'm truly honored to be a part of this amazing organization. And I'm a big old baby. But it's because it means a lot to me. I call the staff everyday superheroes because that's what they are in the lives of children every day. They're a light in the darkness. They are hope in the midst of hopelessness. They stand in the gap. for these kids. I got involved with the center because of a family member that I found out in college could have used an advocacy center when they were a child, but that wasn't an option. I wanted to fight for that family member. I wanted to stand in the gap for them, but I couldn't. There was nothing I could do. But when I heard about the Children's Safety Center, honestly, first time I heard about it, I was like, I pass. That's too uncomfortable. I don't really want to hear about that and be involved. But then I thought, this is a way that maybe I can support that family member. Not directly, but as I could be a small part of the center and helping the staff do what they do, then maybe I could help and honor that family member by helping kids in the future. Because no child should have to go through trauma alone. And so I'm here today as more than just a board member. I'm an advocate for the staff and the work they do to whoever will listen. I'm their sidekick to help their superheroes keep doing their work that's amazing in the lives of these kids. And as much as we don't want to talk about the subject, the sexual abuse of a child, it's uncomfortable. It's dark. And in complete transparency with you, it pisses me off. Because it happens daily. Here, even in thriving Northwest Arkansas, it happens. You heard some of the numbers on the video and in the talk earlier. 89 kids came to the center in January. It's the most in 1 month in the last 2 years. And just to add to that, as of February the 14th, as of Valentine's Day this month, 41 new kids have already come through the center. And while that sounds like a bad thing, I choose to see the good. That's more children who are feeling empowered to stand up and say stop. And they get to come to the center to start their journey of healing and restoration. Because nothing should stand in the way of a child becoming all that God created them to be. Because these children, they're children that you and I, we know. They're our own sons and daughters. They're our nieces and nephews. They're children in our kids' schools. They're in our churches. They're in our neighborhoods. They're the kids of our coworkers. Everyone here knows somebody that's experienced sexual abuse. Even if you think, I don't know anyone, I can't think of anybody, statistics say you know someone, you just don't know. And ending child sexual abuse, along with the support and healing and restoration of that child who has experienced it on their journey, that is the job of that is the job of all of us, not just the staff. That is the job of every organization, every person in our community, every single one of us. Now, I'll do this a lot, and I'm going to do it again. I would like the staff to all stand up again so we can see them, because I want to take any opportunity I can to publicly show our support for the amazing work that these frontline essential workers do. As it was said earlier, sexual abuse a pandemic doesn't stop. We've never shut the doors at the center. They came to work. They came to work even if it's virtually. We never stop seeing kids, checking in on people. It doesn't care how rich you are, how poor you are. It doesn't care what nationality. It doesn't care your race, your gender. It doesn't care. It's indiscriminate. And I can't do what these ladies do. I couldn't come to work every day. I'd be a blubbering mess, or have to see the police department because I probably hurt someone as well when I found out. But I can support them, and so can you. As you heard in the video, all the services at the center are free of charge. The last thing these families need is to worry about the cost of their care or their health care or their help in the middle of trauma. So every dollar that we raise today at this event will go directly to the center's programs for abused children. And you can come tour the center and see your donation at work, which I highly recommend if you have not come, to come take the time and walk through the center, see the handprints, and see your donation at work. I want to give a shout out to Catering Unlimited, who provided the food free of cost. So again, every dollar we raise here today goes straight to the services. So thank you so much, Catering Unlimited. So if you give today, what's your donation give? Well, for $25, it's drinks and snacks that the kids come to the center that they can have as they're going through and starting their process. $50 is a new outfit for a child whose clothes they came to the center in had to be taken during a forensic medical exam. $100 is more paint and supplies that we can continue to add to the over 12,000 handprints on the walls of the center that tell a story of that child. Each one tells its own story. Again, come and see, if you haven't, the stories behind it, why they picked the colors, how they feel once they came in and after they've left. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And for $1,000, we ensure that a child gets the mental health therapy that they need for as long as they need it. So your gift can go a long way. On your table is a large envelope, and inside contains a donation card. Table captains will pass that around. Please take your donation card, give us to what you think you can give, and then we'll collect those back into the envelope and send those to the center. So I want to tell you one thing as I wrap up real quick. While the Children's Safety Center is an amazing mission, it's an amazing organization, I've learned to myself and people, we don't give to organizations. People give to people. And those organizations are made up of people. So as I encourage you today, as you're thinking of what you're going to give, think about these ladies you saw. Give on behalf of them. Or give and honor the children in your life that you want to love and care and protect. I want to invite Emily back up real quick. Oh, there she is. She's going to tell us a little bit, talk about Child Abuse Awareness Month and other ways that we can help. And I just want to say again, thank you for your support and for being here today. God bless.
Yes, Chris has been with us a long time. He's our board president, our campaign co-chair. He does all the things, and we just appreciate him and his wife Kisa so much. So thank you guys. Yes, fill out those donation cards. There's also QR codes on the handprints that are on your table, on the handprint stories that are in those little frames. You can scan the QR code also and pay that way. I'm just going to wrap up real quick. I know if it's not 1 o'clock already, it's probably getting close. So again, on behalf of all of us, board of directors, staff, fund development committee, everyone, just thank you guys so much for coming today, opening your hearts and listening to our program. I hope that it has been eye-opening, inspiring, and you will share what you have learned today with others. I also want to thank our amazing sponsors once again, including Sam's Furniture, Mercy, Catering Unlimited, Fayetteville Public Library, and all of our generous supporters for making today happen. I will tell y'all real quick, Peyton did a really good job creating a super cute thank you to our sponsors roll-up banner. And our sweet little Kappa Deltas that helped us set up yesterday opened it up and set it up for us. And they came, we were up here on the stage, and she said, "Is there supposed to be a bird on it?" And I was like, "No, I don't really know what that is." And I went and looked at it, and it is not our banner. I'm not really sure what it is. I have a very funny picture on my phone if after this anyone wants to see it. But sponsors, just thank you. I'm sorry about the banner. Oh my goodness. Like Chris said, because of our sponsors' generosity, truly every single dollar today goes directly back to our center and our mission for our kids. I would also like to thank our Helping Hand Award recipients, Investigator Scott Odell, Pediatric Dental Associates and Orthodontics, and of course, Dr. Andrew Kohler, and also Dr. Chris for participating in our video. Let's give them another round of applause. Okay, April's coming up. It's National Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, so make sure you're ready. Our site is open to buy your pinwheels and your yard signs, and also starting today, you can purchase your limited edition 25th anniversary CSC Blue Apparel collection. It's really intriguing, right? We have lots of things on there, hats, shirts, sweatshirts. We will send out links to everything. It's also posted on our social media. These specialty items are only on sale through March 13th, so be sure to get your order in. Danielle, I figured Coach must probably, he likes t-shirts, so I figure he probably needs a couple, right? Blue is the color for child abuse awareness, so be sure to wear your blue on April 11th. Also going on in April will be our first ever pickleball tournament. I know those ladies are in the house. Saturday, April 16th, so shout out to Rachel Chancellor and her committee for putting that together for us. We will send links out to everything. Again, pinwheel signs, apparel. Pickleball registration opens March 1st, so be on the lookout for that. Also, if you would like to see our current facility, we are having an open house on Tuesday, April 5th from 4 to 6. And if you cannot attend on that day, please feel free to reach out to me for a private tour. We are also hosting a child abuse prevention training on April 14th. So be on the lookout to that as well. That's one of the programs that we do is provide free child sexual abuse prevention trainings and mandated reporter trainings, and it's completely free to any community members. So if you guys have organizations, churches, anything that you're involved with, we do those for free. So please reach out to us also. If you're a table captain, be sure to hand your donation envelope to a CSC staff member. They are back there and right here, as you guys saw. We'd also like to give a big thank you to Arkansas First Lady Susan Hutchinson for joining us today and all the work she does for abused and neglected children. And also to head coach Jordan Weber, thank you so much. I know you have to get right back to practice, but I just wanted to say the gym backs are ranked 16th, right? 16th? Okay, 16th in the nation. And I encourage all of you to attend a meet. My cards are on the table, so that has all info on it. And lastly, again, just thank you guys for coming. We as staff and some of our interns are here today as well. We just love the work that we get to do every day. And you guys make that work possible. Chris, I'm crying. Where'd Chris go? Yep, just following you up, Chris. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a wonderful week and stay warm. And I need award recipients and other people. We're taking photos. Scott, photos. Okay, thank you guys.